Introduce yourself, please.
Lucy Letby.
Lucy Letby has been found guilty
of murdering 7 newborn children.
Did this unassuming nurse really kill babies in her care?
When we see Lucy Letby sitting in her bed, bleary-eyed, trying to wrap her head around what is happening, what had happened, and what is about to happen, it's easy to forget those crazy post-its that were found in that same bedroom, tucked inside a 2016 diary in a chest of drawers, as well as in a Morrison's bag below her bed. Those notes contained admissions of guilt such as, "I don't deserve to live," "I'm a horrible, evil person," and "maybe I did kill them."
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
So let's ask that question again.
Did this unassuming nurse really kill babies in her care?
And you actually have the answer to that question within the question. Lucy Letby is a plain Jane, and it's precisely because of her bland, unassuming appearance that I think she not only wanted attention but went to every effort to get it. She did this to get the attention of a doctor she fancied. If you look carefully, although Lucy claimed in court to have a boyfriend, none has ever come forward, none has ever been shown, none has ever testified or said anything about a relationship with Lucy. And so what is very compelling is the only romantic interest that we seem to have discovered is this married doctor that she worked with. The same married doctor that was summoned time and time again, summoned to her side each and every time there was an emergency. And of course, Lucy could manufacture that on demand. According to Variety, the 36-year-old nurse was convicted of murdering 7 infants between June 2015 and June 2016, as well as the attempted murders of 7 others, making her the UK's most prolific child murderer. That is quite a lot of summoning efforts, isn't it? In August 2023, she was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order, meaning she will die in prison. In July 2024, an attempted murder charge that the jury failed to reach a verdict on was retried, and Letby was again found guilty. So there has been a retrying of it, which actually made things even worse for Lucy. More recently, 2 additional potential murder cases were examined against Lucy, but they were dismissed, I think, earlier this week due to insufficient evidence. According to Variety, the Letby case both gripped and divided the UK, with some expressing doubt over the medical and statistical evidence that led to her conviction. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about those doubters that have certainly been commenting on a lot of my videos and a lot of my coverage. But before we get to that, and before we get to what else appears in this Netflix documentary, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. By the way, I'll be doing a very interesting analysis on John Fernie, one of the peripheral characters that there's very little information on this particular individual in the Ramsey case. Have you actually ever even seen a photo of John Fernie? So we'll be dealing with him as one of the peripheral figures in the Peripheral Figures series, so look out for that. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please do hit the thanks button, and let's get started. Alright, so according to the Telegraph, during her trial, Letby claimed she had been taken to the police station in her pajamas, which was disputed by the prosecution, who accused her of trying to garner sympathy with the jury. But just think of those words, accused of trying to garner sympathy. Now you get some people who do that and who do that often, and that's almost like a default setting for some people, and then you get other people who don't want your sympathy and they're quite proud in a sense. Well, Lucy was someone who often tried to garner sympathy. In several of her texts with her doctor Beau, Lucy seemed to be doing the same thing, which even prompts the doctor to say, poor Lucy. She says, sat having a quiet moment and want to cry. Doctor, Oh, Lucy, poor little thing, and are you okay? Have a cry, you'll feel better for it, I'm sure. You're welcome to take my car home if you're too tired to walk. That's quite a friendly doctor, wouldn't you say? Take my car, I'll sort out picking it up in the morning. So sorry you've had a rubbish day. Lucy, we've lost 2 babies I was caring for, and now this happened today. Makes you think I'm missing something / good enough. And so, can you see, she's looking for comfort, looking for reassurance. And so what does the doctor do? He responds. He says, Lucy, if anyone knows how hard you've worked over the last 3 days, it's me. If anybody says anything to you about not being good enough or performing adequately, I want you to promise me that you'll give my details to provide a statement. And you can imagine in a situation like this, he's married. And so if she wants his attention, and in particular if she wants a certain kind of his attention, she really needs to lay it on thick, doesn't she? And what can happen with a certain amount of sympathy, the sympathy and the comfort can graduate to something else. And isn't that what Lucy wants? Lucy says, I sincerely hope I won't ever be needing a statement, but thank you, I promise. Doctor, you are one of the few nurses across the region that I would trust with my own children. Lucy says, don't know what to say, thank you. Doctor, self-doubt finished? I think so, thank you. And I'm not sure if those are kisses, but anyway, plus. According to the Telegraph, Nick Johnson said that she was a very calculating woman. He said, the reason you tell lies is to try and get sympathy from people. You try and get attention from people. To the uninitiated, trying to get attention may seem mostly harmless. To the uninitiated, trying to get attention may seem to be not only not a big deal, but not nearly a big enough deal to murder over, let alone commit serial killer. Put up your hand if you agree with that. Now, what this shows, I think, is an incredible lack of understanding of the criminal mind, not only in terms of Lucy's, but others as well. In the Jodi Arias case, and I wrote a couple of books on that case, Jodi literally committed murder because she wasn't getting the sort of attention and commitment from her boyfriend that she wanted or that she was used to. In the Chris Watts case, same thing. Well, same, somewhat different. Watts' mistress demanded that she didn't want to play second fiddle in his life, didn't want to be number 2. And so how does he respond to that? He promptly slaughters his own family, basically saying, because I want to give you the attention that you want. It's also possible that Nick Reiner committed double murder because he wasn't getting the attention he wanted, and he felt very uncomfortable with the amount of fame his father was getting, and he felt he was entitled to that as well. Another case that involves a person that really wanted a lot of attention is Amanda Knox. Now, Lucy Letby, an only child, has all the hallmarks of a coddled individual who doesn't know what to do when she can't get what she wants, when she can't get the attention she wants from a particular person. And so how does she force that to take place? Well, she cheats. She creates contrivances because she knows she lacks whatever she needs to make it happen naturally. She lacks that kind of agency to get the sort of attention that she wants. Now, I don't doubt that the first time this happened, it was perhaps just in the course of work, not intentional, but Lucy soon learned that emergencies created the sort of close encounters with colleagues that made her feel important and visible. What I think she also learned was that she could easily manufacture these and then get that sort of, let's call it, narcissistic supply that she wanted kind of at the press of a button. Have a look at this text. Sorry if I was off, just wasn't a great start to shift, but sadly it got worse. I was struggling to accept what happened to baby A. Now we've lost baby C overnight. It's all a bit much. You can see once again, looking for sympathy. Response, hoping you're going to be okay. This isn't like you, sending you the biggest hugs. I just keep seeing them both. No one should have to see and do the things. You can see how she creates drama and then plays with that drama to meet her own ends, right? And soon the temptation, I think, arose to create these emergencies. They were so easy to do, to manufacture these dramas. Suddenly, someone who felt invisible and powerless suddenly felt incredibly potent, felt important and almost godlike in her ability to deal in judgment. Basically, she could change a family's entire fate at the drop of a hat, more specifically, the injection of an air bubble.
So easy. So simple.
Yes, and so subtle. The only thing linking her to these deaths was if she was on a shift at the time. But over time, that would establish itself as a pattern. Now, according to the Telegraph, Letby was arrested 3 times. On the first occasion, in July 2018, she was led out of her home wearing a blue tracksuit. Giving evidence, she said she recalled being taken away in her pajamas. But that's not entirely accurate. She was arrested in her pajamas, yes, but I don't know if she was ever led out of her home in them. Although I do think on one occasion, isn't she led outside in a dressing gown? I'm assuming this hoodie is a dressing gown. But the point is, by telling the jury she was taken away in her pajamas, isn't she trying to gain sympathy? According to the Telegraph, the footage previously unseen shows that when she was arrested at her parents' home in Hereford in June 2019, so she's actually at her parents' home, she's living with her parents. She's being coddled, right? She is in her nightmare. And even what she's wearing, to me, seems kind of childlike, seems kind of immature. Seems like a little girl that still needs to grow up, but maybe that's just me. Lucy has been successful, though, in getting a whole bunch of people to feel sorry for her. And based on that pity, they seem to think she's innocent as well. Now, if Lucy had even the sniffings of a defense, she would have been granted an appeal by now, and thus a chance for new evidence to be heard, or for evidence that wasn't properly heard to be re-examined. That could still happen. But in October 2024, Lucy lost even her bid to have her case appealed. This means there has to be a very strong case against her, not that she has a very strong defense case. According to the Telegraph, Ian Rumsey, the managing director of content at ITN, said, "This was an incredibly challenging story to tell. We presented perspectives from all sides to let viewers draw their own conclusions. I'm enormously proud of the entire team." Now, my own opinion of the Letby case, having covered the trial in depth, in detail, having looked at the evidence, the stats, and Lucy herself, trying to get a handle on her, is that I'm frankly appalled that there are so many people out there who want to imagine not just a killer, but a serial killer is innocent. It's not just she's innocent of that crime, but that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. I think it adds up to something like 14 or 15. That means each and every murder is simply dismissed, which makes this sort of attitude a lot like Lucy's herself, that her life is so much more important than one baby and another and another. And those who support her basically seem to have the same attitude. Her life is so much more important than a baby's and another's and another's. It may seem to the uninitiated that there may be other explanations for how certain babies died, but that is the point. That is why it was so difficult to pick up what was going on, why it took so long to pick up what was going on, because of the subtlety involved. What is not subtle is the fact that each time there was an incident, Lucy was there. But to Lucy's supporters, this doesn't mean anything. I guess because statistical evidence either isn't sexy enough for them, or because it seems like rocket science, too complicated to understand. Thankfully, the jury and more sensible minds have prevailed. As I say, there is little in true crime more revolting than supporting a serial killer, especially one of children or infants, and in this case, the most prolific killer of children in the history, I think, of the UK. Anyway, I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening. Look out for the Netflix documentary that starts on Wednesday, February 4th. It's called The Investigation of Lucy Letby. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time.